Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Trevon Diggs ready to return to the field for the Dallas Cowboys. Cornerback Trevon Diggs received medical clearance on Tuesday to return to practice after starting Dallas Cowboys training camp on the physically unable to perform list last week. 2 games into the 2023 season, Diggs tore the anterior cruciate ligament in his left knee at practice on September 21 and missed the remainder of the campaign. Smartly, Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy said when asked on Tuesday how he anticipated working the former Alabama defensive back into Dallas training camp routine in Oxnard, California. "This biggest thing is for him to stay on his rehab program with trainer Britt Brown," McCarthy said, "but to get him into the jog-throughs and the teaching drills is the first step, and then we'll see how we progress into the individual. No one wants to sit in the classroom all day and then go out and watch his brothers compete. He definitely misses it, and I know he'll be excited to be out there." Diggs joined the Cowboys from the Crimson Tide in the second round of the 2020 NFL Draft. In 2021, Diggs earned first-team All-Pro recognition as he intercepted 11 passes, the most in one season in the NFL in 40 years. After Diggs reached the Pro Bowl again in 2022 and with the cornerback entering the final season of his rookie contract in 2023, the Cowboys signed him in July 2023 to a 5-year, $97 million contract extension. "He's such a playmaker," McCarthy said about what Dallas missed without Diggs on the field in 2023. "Obviously, his ability to go get the football, get his hands on the football, his challenge of the receiver, the matchups, we missed all of that. We missed all of his game. Where he is in his career, I think his value speaks for itself with both the contract and the way his teammates, just think about that day. That was a bad day for everybody when he went down." Dallas starts its 3-game preseason schedule on August 11 against the Los Angeles Rams and kicks off its regular season slate on September 8 against the Cleveland Browns. Training camp bleachers nearly empty for Cowboys' first practice in pads. Dallas Cowboys training camp is in full swing, as Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, and company underwent their first padded practice of the season Tuesday afternoon. Unfortunately, the fans didn't seem to be that interested. The majority of the bleachers where Dallas supporters usually sit to catch a session were empty. Multiple reporters, including WFAA's Mike Leslie and The Athletic's John Machota, shared scenes from Tuesday's practice. "Not many fans for Cowboys' first practice in pads," noted Machota via X, formerly Twitter. "Many Cowboys players, including stars Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, and CeeDee Lamb, are frustrated about the state of their contracts. Prescott and Parsons are currently at training camp with the team, but Lamb is still holding out while he waits on a new deal. Dallas #1 receiver is in Houston working out and staying in shape for the upcoming season." McCarthy is entering his 5th season at the helm, and it certainly feels like a make-or-break campaign for the veteran coach. Although their division and conference haven't gotten any easier, the Cowboys should be one of the favorites to win the NFC. At least, on paper. The reality is that winning the division, much less the conference, will be a tough task for even this star-laden team. The Philadelphia Eagles, one of Dallas' division rivals, are arguably a more complete team that also made some strong additions this offseason. The Cowboys mostly stayed the course, bringing back former first-round pick Ezekiel Elliott at running back while adding middle linebacker Eric Kendricks to the defense. Although these additions, along with first-round pick Tyler Guyton and the draft class, help the team, it still feels as if they are behind the Eagles at the moment. The best chance that the Cowboys have at success in the upcoming campaign is to get the trio of Prescott, Parsons, and Lamb locked in with long-term deals. The sooner, the better. The most important thing that the Cowboys brass, led by McCarthy and owner/president/GM Jerry Jones, must do is lock in their 3 biggest stars. Doing that will send a message to the team that if they perform well, then they will be rewarded with long-term commitments. Other stars, such as cornerbacks Trayvon Diggs and Darren Bland, will need new deals in the near future, so setting the precedent now would be wise. If McCarthy and his staff can keep the team locked in, then there's no reason why Dallas shouldn't clinch a playoff berth at the very least. However, playoff berths aren't the goal. Winning the Super Bowl is. That is a goal that the Cowboys haven't accomplished since the 1990s. If they want to finish the story this year, then they will have to be all in. If not, then a new head coach could be walking the sidelines at AT&T Stadium in 2025. Cowboys exec drops hint that fan-favorite playmaker will be cut. It is early in NFL training camp, of course, with the Cowboys just putting on the pads for the first time on Tuesday, and while many of the team's storylines are focused off the field, one of the big on-field stories will be the committee of running backs the Cowboys have assembled to replace star back Tony Pollard, who left for the Titans this offseason. In the process of praising one member of the committee, though, Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones may have revealed a very possible and prominent future roster cut, popular running back Deuce Vaughn. Jones, appearing on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas on Monday, started by praising free agent find Royce Freeman. "That Freeman guy has really impressed," Jones said, via the Dallas Morning News. "We were just talking about it, Sunday, at the scout dinner. What in the hell was he doing sitting around out there? An interesting guy to just have been sitting there. He's a great 2-3 combination in terms of what he can do as a backup," Jones said. "He's a big, thick guy. And he's a hell of a special teams player as well. He'll be a good addition and great complement to Ezekiel Elliott. And then we'll let these young guys between Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis, and those guys will battle it out." Not mentioned among that final four, Vaughn, the team's 6th-round draft pick last year. Ironically, the Cowboys' decision to water down the running back spot by turning it into a committee rather than having one star back getting the bulk of the carries is likely to cost Vaughn his spot on the 53-man roster. He is useful as a spot player who returns kicks, but if the Cowboys can use Freeman in the return game, they don't need Vaughn. More important, they can focus on keeping 4 backs who have a real chance at getting consistent carries. At 5'5", Vaughn can only be used sporadically. He did gain popularity among Cowboys fans during last preseason when, in the opener against the Jaguars, he provided a series of highlight plays that culminated in a touchdown and chance of DUUXC. But things slowed for Vaughn from there. He had 5 carries for 14 yards and a touchdown in the Cowboys' second preseason game, and no carries in the finale. He had 23 carries for 40 yards during the season, as well as 7 catches for another 40 yards. Vaughn also had 4 punt returns for 19 yards. Vaughn is clearly a fan favorite, but this team is stretched to its roster limits, and can't afford to keep players for sentimental reasons. He could be back with the Cowboys, but more likely on the practice squad than the active roster. Still, on the plus side, Jones' comments about Freeman are encouraging, even if they do indicate that the Cowboys waited to find someone just sitting around before finally signing him. Freeman, a 3rd-round pick by the Broncos, is in his 7th NFL season and rushed for 319 yards on 77 carries last season, an average of 4.1 per carry, the second best of his career. He has played 79 games for 4 seasons, and has just 9 starts to his credit, meaning that while he could be a good complement to Elliott, he is not likely a threat to take the starting job. There are low expectations for the running game, despite Jones' apparent upbeat outlook. Pro Football Focus has the Cowboys' backs ranked dead last in the NFL entering the season. After letting Tony Pollard sign elsewhere in free agency, and missing out on the top backs in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Cowboys re-signed Ezekiel Elliott to be their lead rusher, PFF noted. Elliott's glory days came with the Cowboys, but his yards per carry average has dipped below 4.0 over the past 2 seasons, resulting in a career-low 69.2 PFF rushing grade in 2023. Behind him are Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Deuce Vaughn? Leave your opinion in the comments.